Yo, so it is story time. As you know, KD Multimedia, at its very core, at my very passion, it's about telling stories through sport, and I think that this might be a pretty good one. So as I've talked about in my last video, the one about remembering my grandfather at the US Open, I opened that by saying that this past 2020 US Open would be the fifth that I'd been a part of in some capacity. These are the credentials that I've got, like to, I don't know, hold on to as mementos. So that's 2016, 2018, 19, which is pretty cool, and then 20. So 16, 17, and 18 I was in ticket operations. 17 I don't have one to show for it because I left for grad school, but 19 and 20 I was in player services, which is how this story kind of all came about. So among several other things in player relations, player services, and really just tournament operations, any and all player requests that kind of come through, we do our best to take care of them so that the US Open can be remembered by the players as the number one in player services out of all the Grand Slam tournaments, right? And it's not always a yes, right? It's within reason, but this one was an interesting one. So, as you'd imagine, for the 2020 US Open, things were very strict as far as it pertained to the bubble. So, individuals that were either playing or on the players' team, or even the staff themselves, were in a bubble. So that meant that they were either in the hotel, the tennis center, or the bus going to or from. They could not run any of the small errands in between. That's where I came in, right? So I was brought on to be like the out of bubble runner, so I know the area pretty well, and then if there's any like quick little errands that needed to be run, I'd be able to just hop in the car, drive, and take care of that. And it was on Saturday, September 5th, where I was here at home, and I got a call from a very random, just Cleveland, Ohio number. Never seen it, and I usually don't answer numbers that I don't recognize, but during the tournament, there's a lot of individuals who get your number that, you got to be in communication with. And this one was actually the agent for a really, really promising tennis player, is all I will say. I did come to an agreement with the player's agent and agency as well as New Balance marketing. I said that I would just leave the names out. I don't know. I just feel like that would be best. But I will say, of course, you'll come to learn it's a New Balance athlete. And this individual's marketing agent was requesting that I pick up some items from the hotel for them and then take it over to the New Balance's flagship location, which is in the Flatiron District, which was super easy to get to. So I took the gear over from the tennis center over to the Flatiron District location where I met Phil. Phil is a really, really cool guy that works at the New Balance location. I am actually going to see him later today to give him like a US Open mask and maybe a couple like match-used tennis balls, just because, he was really cool. And the reason he was really cool was that the agent texted me saying like, hey, I told the store for you to pick out a pair of shoes and it'd be on us. And I was like, but I mean, when it actually came to cashing in on that, like, I don't know, I just get like real shy, a little sheepish, so I didn't really want to follow through with it. But it was Phil that was like, hey, listen, like, by the way, before you leave, the marketing team said to pick out a pair of shoes, a top and a bottom. And I was like, bruh, like, top and a bottom too. Word, who am I to say no? So I go ahead and park the car in the city, which, not as easy as it sounds. And I was able to, with Phil's help, pick out top, a bottom, and a pair of shoes. So let's just go top down, and I've got some B-roll for each of these, but the top, I selected a long sleeve. I feel like long sleeves are just like super dope, and like, yes, I've got a lot of tees and a lot of hoodies, but I feel like these are just that perfect in between. So this is just a nice, like, I don't know, I almost want to call it like a straight up just Barney color, but just really calm long sleeve. I do feel like it's got like some active wear type of inspiration, reason being like, let's say the detailing on the elbow there, which I don't know, I always feel like that's really cool to just have a difference in texture. And then the part that I just really enjoyed about it, it was a collaboration with Bodega. Bodega is a store in Boston, and their thing is like hidden in plain sight. And I'll flash a photo up of like their storefront, but dude, like, if you've never been but you're into like the whole streetwear thing, or even just like boutiques and just a dope shopping experience, they're really worth checking out. They are based in Boston, like I said, just like New Balance is, and this was a collaboration done between the two. I will show a shot of the tag here, but it's really cool how they just got like the collaborative branding there, and it says like, thank you for copying. That was definitely dope. But I mean, easily my favorite detail on this is the sleeve. I mean, New, Bodega, but like the N fused in there from New Balance, all terrain. So just a really, really cool piece. Definitely one that I'm going to be wearing now that it's getting a lot cooler. Like we're kind of just sitting in the mid 60s now in mid-September, so definitely excited to throw this one on. As far as the shorts, this one is a performance short. It is a 7-inch 2-in-1 short, and this is just a plain, look at them here, just solid black. What I really liked about these though is that it's got like the built-in, almost like, I guess if you want to call it spandex, right? But I just really like that look. It's almost like a tennis inspired look of when you can kind of see like the tights that are a little bit longer than your shorts. I mean, it was super popular this year at the tournament. But yeah, I mean, they seem to be like super comfortable. They've got like a lot of ventilation with some really subtle reflective 3M branding right there. So I am excited to throw these on for sure. And then lastly, moving on to the sneaker. So as you guys can see, big sneaker guy, and it goes up to the ceiling. I may or may not need a step stool to get to the very top shelf. But as far as the shoes, so the pair I selected is actually made in the US, something that New Balance is very, very rare in the sneaker game currently for, and I think it's amazing. The quality of the materials utilized is just second to none, and I mean, yeah, they just put out some dope silhouettes. So without further ado, the big bop of the pickups that day was the New Balance 992. So there is a look at the shoe. It truly is just a really, really nicely put together shoe. Again, I mean, all of like the stitching and the materials are hella on point, and I mean, I just really like the small details. So what I mean by that is how it changes materials, changes texture. So yes, you've got like a super soft suede there, right? And then how it changes over to mesh on the toe box, but I just like that it's almost like a cloth material there, like on the heel collar, and then in that little like mid panel, and then it's also just like a calm colorway, and then right there's the USA branding. I've got plenty of B-roll that'll probably be flashing up right now, but I mean, again, like, it was actually released on May 1st, this sneaker was, and I think that maybe they were going for like, you know, like this is just like some dope, like just summer vibes and stuff like that. However, I mean, I think that this would be a dope fall shoe as well. So this is something I would definitely wear straight through the fall. Definitely a component I really liked about the sneaker was just the packaging, which again, I will show some extra footage that I did capture to see what it is that you're unboxing when you actually get the sneaker in hand. Now, I do believe that these actually, in this colorway, might be sold out at a lot of online retailers, but of course, as you see, I was able to walk right into the Flatiron District location and get my size 10, which is a common size. Definitely recommend New Balance because I feel like the general consensus is that they've always produced some really high quality stuff. It's just that the pricing, for good reason, and it is justified, is probably just like a little bit higher than people are kind of willing to spend. But you can take it from me as somebody that obviously really likes sneakers and the storytelling behind them, that, dude, it's worth it, for real. In fact, the reason I'm wearing this Apple shirt is because I was doing some research on the shoe, and there's this Hypebeast article that I'll probably put right here, I guess. And while I was reading it, it says that the New Balance 992 takes on tropical tones, mixing in shades of pink, blue, and cyan, with soft seersucker stripes. So I think that was dope. As far as, again, the reasoning for the Apple shirt, it says, a known favorite of late Apple co-founder Steve Jobs, the 992 is lauded for its comfort and style, two things that ensure its continued popularity, although it must be noted that Jobs would likely prefer a more toned down palette. Well, you know what, Steve? Thank you for this iPhone and all the Apple products that I am utilizing to edit this video. However, I feel like I'm just a more stylish guy than you. So yes, you can find me in these, even though they're not as toned down as your palette would call for. But anyways, and as to how this is a story through sport, well, I mean, these are things that come up in professional sports, even if you want to say like collegiate sports too. And sometimes, like, there are some cool things to show for it. These credentials are more than enough to show for it. I have these hanging from my bookshelf every day to commemorate these memories. However, I mean, when it comes to product, again, it's not necessarily about like being materialistic, but it's really just a story behind them. You know what I mean? Like, that player, that's someone I'm always going to root for, right? Because I took their stuff over from X to Y place. But yes, like, it's just a small task, but I mean, like, anytime that you feel like, anytime that they go on to be successful, which this individual will be, I mean, you feel like you played a small part in it, you know, and I feel like that's enough for me. So I wasn't going to show you all this without chopping all the tags off and throwing on the fit. So, and this is basically my outro here. But again, thank you for watching. I appreciate you.